welcome back to another round here at NXTGP iRacing for another round in the Porsche Cup. We're halfway through the season already. Time flies when you're having fun, it's cliche, but oh so true for this championship. We've almost had it all. We still have 4 rounds to go, but we've had photo finishes, crashes, fights for the lead, fights for podium positions, and we're only halfway. And halfway we arrive at the Nordschleife, the full 20.6 4-kilometer track with 154 turns. It's going to be an absolute spectacle to witness these Porsche Cups drive here. But first, qualifying is up. Qualifying has already commenced, and I'm quite curious, as a matter of fact, who's going to be on pole position and who's going to set the lap time, because I'm not sure if the stewards have considered that the Nordschleife is a pretty long track, and with this long track, I think the Porsche Super Cups, they probably do a time, set a lap time of around 8 minutes. It's without the GP section, as a good disclaimer, so that does take off a minute, so maybe 7 minutes, as we see Hendrik Lichtenhagen getting a blue, black and white Porsche Super Cup in his rearview mirrors, as I absolutely despise the TV camera. Hendrik Lichtenhagen, I think behind Lichtenhagen is, it isn't Votter. It's Thomas Kula. Alright. Well, Kula needs to find his way around Hendrik Lichtenhagen, but the point I wanted to make is the fact that we have about 3 minutes remaining. Now, looking at the track map, not all these cars are going to be able to get a lap time in within the, well, before the 15-minute mark hits. Which is going to be interesting, because normally in iRacing, when the 15-minute mark hit, qualifying has ended. Does it really mean that no one has set a qualifying lap time? Although I must admit, Thomas Kula and Hendrik Lichtenhagen, as... Oh, there goes Hendrik Lichtenhagen. Trying to figure out what's happening, well, with Hendrik Lichtenhagen, yes. Well, he spun it. And I'm trying to figure out why the cameras are so absolutely horrible. It's my first time streaming here at the Nordschleife. And so far, the view gets obstructed by trees and, well, boards, and we'll see. That does not, hopefully, compromise our qualifying session all too much. But you see Hendrik Lichtenhagen still trying to survive the Nordschleife, which is of course easier said than done. We have 2 minutes remaining. Thomas Kula is not going to make it, I think, so he probably might make it. He actually might make it. The ones who won't make it, probably Luca Metzeler, Miro Ragubi, the Belgian driver making his debut in the NXTGP session championship. Nicolas Welle won't make it. I don't think Marco Koch will make it either. Nico Schiffer is nowhere near the finish line. And then we have Davide Coati, who's, I don't think, also not going to make it. So Thomas Kula, he's not on his outlap, at least it doesn't appear so, so he's going to make it. This isn't a battle of being the fastest, it's really more about getting to the finish line. If what I predict is actually true. I haven't seen an iRacing session where when the timer hits 15:00, it doesn't stop. So this is going to be interesting. Thomas Kula, he's going into pit lane, which is even more interesting. Hasn't set a lap time. Hendrik Lichtenhagen doesn't set a lap time either. I'm not really sure what's going on at this point. Felix Votter. So everyone is on their outlap. Or was Felix Votter already on his outlet? I think it's the latter. Luca Metzler might make it, but no one is... Oh, probably no one is getting a time in, purely for the fact that everybody's got an off track. I hadn't even realized the Nordschleife is 154 turns, like I told you. Now, it's pretty easy to get an off track on this Nordschleife track. I don't think anybody is going to get a valid qualifying lap in. Yes, it's Luca Metzler. He's the very first to get a quali lap in. Felix Votter won't be there on time. Nico Schiffer won't be there on time. So the only one that's going to set a viable lap time is Luca Metzler. And he didn't even need to do anything for it, really. Qualifying has ended. And only one lap time. It's an absolutely bizarre scenario. But Luca Metzler is claiming his very first pole position of the season. This is absolutely insanity. But we're going to have a look at the grid. But there's not really a lot to look about, given we have only 11 people, and one of those 11 has set a lap time. It's bizarre, but maybe bizarre is the right word to describe the current state of the championship. And with state, I mean things going on, absolute insanity with driving on track. It's going to be interesting, this Nordschleife race as well. Luca Metzler has claimed his first pole position of the season, followed by Felix Votter. He will start in P2, the man who's currently leading the championship and has won a race in every round so far in this Porsche Super Cup Championship. Followed by Thomas Kula, followed by the Finnish driver Samuel Suopanki, who did win a last race, if I'm correct. Otherwise, it would be a different Finnish driver. We'll have a look either way. Hendrik Lichtenhagen will start at P5, followed by Niklas Wehle, followed by Nico Schiffer. Marco Kerkman will start in P8. Davide Kawati will start in P9, followed by Miro Ragubi, who will start in P10. And Julian Thijs is your last man on the grid. 11 Porsche Super Cups will be driven here in 2 rounds. We'll probably get about 3 laps on this Nordschleife circuit. But we know that even with 3 laps, a lot can happen. We're going to get a rolling start here. Let's hope it's not a full formation lap. I don't think it is, given the safety car starts well before the line. That probably means that the safety car is going to tuck in pit lane just before we start. Right, ladies and gentlemen, strap yourselves in, because this is going to be an absolute feast for the eyes. The 4th round of this NXTGP will commence in about 1 minute time, where Luca Metzler was currently P7 overall in the championship, but your leading bronze driver with 261 points to his name only has 4 points less than Niklas Wehle.
Green, green, green.
Green. The safety car is in. Luca Metzler leads the field on towards turn 1 with your championship leader right behind. The fight for P3 and P4. Samuel Suopanki fighting with Thomas Kula, the driver from Slovakia, who's been doing well so far, trying to chase another podium finish. Was competitive in Daytona last time around. Lichtenhagen was competitive as well and came home with a surprising P2 in the feature race. Absolute insanity. If you haven't watched it, go watch that race back. We've had a photo finish as Thomas Kula, little bit of a squirrely exit out of the first section of the Nordschleife makes opportunity, smells his chance, gets past Thomas Kula, and now needs to stay in front. Oh, we have a driver wide. I think that's Nico Schiffer. It is Niklas Wehle, as a matter of fact. gets overtaken there by Marco Kerkmann. Round the outside, can Davide Coatti follow? He can indeed, and thus the German driver promotes himself up to P8 as well. Now on the back of Marco Kerkmann, needs to defend from Niklas Rehler. But all good, all stable so far for Davide Coatti. And Niklas Rehler needs to look in his mirrors even more. There's a German driver, another German driver. His name, Julian Theis, in the 999 Porsche Super Cup. Excuse me, trying to put the pressure on the kettle to overtake P9. So far, Luca Metzler still holding on to that P1 position. Perhaps a surprise, given your reigning champion is, well, for this series, absolutely dominant in the lead. 28 points is his lead. That's the biggest gap of anyone to anyone in the series top 10. I'm confusing Henry Paroneva with Samuel Suapanki. They're both Finnish, but it was Henry Paroneva who had an absolutely astonishing finish. I still don't know who's won that actually. I think it's Henry Paroneva. I'll check that out for you soon enough. But Felix Votter now on the back of Luca Metzler, trying to find a way by, but that's easier said than done on this Nordschleife track. Do not be fooled. 154 turns. It may sound like a lot of overtaking opportunities. 154 turns, 154 overtaking opportunities. That's just simply not the case on its Nordschleife track. It gets very narrow, very quickly. You can, in some cars, even fit two cars. It's even difficult to find the optimum line with one car, but Felix Votter now trying around the outside with the slipstream. He's going to find a turn at some point over the grass, and through goes Felix Votter. As does Nico Schiffer for P5, but we stay with the lead because this can definitely all change when we get on the Tottenham Road. The only thing Luca Metzler now needs to do is stay within the slipstream of Felix Votter, and Samuel Suapanki into the gravel, finds his car stable again on the exit, losing time to the drivers behind. But now Nico Schiffer, after a bit of a disappointing qualifying, trying to get his way back up to the order. Samuel Suapanki completely missing the carousel there. He's going to lose a lot of time. Felix Votter increasing the gap. It's already 7/10. Can Luca Metzler hold on just a little bit longer to receive his slipstream? Well, the answer is already there. It's already 9/10. It's going to be so difficult for Luca Metzler. It's going to be so difficult for Nico Schiffer to get by Hendrik Lichtenhagen. But filling the mirrors of Lichtenhagen with almost went for it. It looked like he went for it. Nico Schiffer, as we were blinded by the trees, Thomas Kula might want to overtake Nico Schiffer before Schiffer overtakes Lichtenhagen. This is a fight for the ages, for the final P4 spot, for the only P4 spot, best of the rest. And when we've done this lap, we only have about 2 laps to go. 5 minutes we've driven already on a superb track, bringing us a lot of action already. You'd think with 11 cars the gaps might be a little bit bigger. It's not. The field is evenly matched as Leonardo Gubi finds some places because Julian Theis went a little bit off track, and Marco Kerkmann crashed as well. What happened here to Marco Kerkmann? Going a bit wide, losing the car, getting back on track. Oh, there's Julian Theis, needs to avoid Marco Kerkmann. And through goes the Belgian driver. Let's see if he can retain that P8 spot. Because Julian Theis definitely doesn't have damage and is a force to be reckoned with for the debutant in 8th place. Caps are a little bit spread, but Henrik Lichtenhagen now finding the slipstream of Samuel Suopanki in that oh so long Tottenham Hole straight. On towards Tiergarten. Henrik Lichtenhagen now needs to defend, because there goes Thomas Kula in the slipstream of Felix Votter. Surely we don't go 3 wide into Tiergarten, side by side. Oh, Henrik Lichtenhagen needs to watch out. Thomas Kula needs to nail his braking point, which he somehow does. That looked absolutely spectacular from the Slovakian driver. Goes through to P5 and now can chase Nico Schiffer, as Henrik Lichtenhagen loses 2 positions in one very long Nordschleife lapse time. And both can now, Thomas Kula, Nico Schiffer, try and catch Samuel Suopanki. That was only 1 second. Felix Votter now absolutely driving away. Absolutely driving away compared to Luca Metzler and the rest of the team. It's looking a little bit cloudy actually on this Nordschleife track, but I assure you, no rain is going to fall. Thomas Kula. Oh, there we go! Side by side into that very fast right-hander. It could have caused some problems for all the 3 of them, but Thomas Kula very eager to overtake Nico Schiffer. You're not going to catch Samuel Suopanki like this. Nico Schiffer thinking the better of it, maybe trying to get back around the outside. Doesn't try it, perhaps can't try it. But Thomas Kula finding himself best of the rest, P4 on track. You can see Nico Schiffer having a little bit of damage on the rear end. Maybe, just maybe, that is something to do with Nico Schiffer overtaken by Thomas Kula there. But let's see if all 3 of them can catch Samuel Suopanki. The gap is already 1 second, so the Finnish driver definitely pulled away just a little bit. Let's have a look. Let's have a look on board with Henrik Lichtenhagen. He's grabbing his popcorn, hoping these 2 guys will fight. Perhaps crash each other out. You know, when you're on the other end, it's never a good thing when you're crashing out. But when you're Henrik Lichtenhagen, you're praying and hoping someone makes a mistake. A mistake Nico Schiffer just made in front of him. Not a mistake big enough to capitalize on it for Henrik Lichtenhagen, and it's going to be very tight coming into this next section of the Nordschleife. Let's stay on board for just a little while with Henrik Lichtenhagen. Side, Belgian driver trying to stick with it, trying to hang on side by side even longer. Almost approaching the first carousel. Mira Ragubi still in front of Julian Thijs. Thijs looking for the opportunity, filling the mirrors of the number 5 Porsche Super Cup, sliding out of that right-hander right there, approaching the carousel. Julian Thijs, there's absolutely nothing he could do there, as Davide Kawati went shortly off track. Let's have a look here. Oh, just missing his braking point. Oh, really missing his braking point. It's just avoiding the barriers. He might have even touched it with his mirrors, but you can't have it any closer than that. Well, still, he drives in last place. And there we have it. Julian Thijs now passes the debutant who is behind him. Let's have a quick replay of that. It's a mistake from Ragubi, allowing the German driver to, with absolutely no difficulties, overtake the man who was just for a little moment in P8. Well, the gap between Thomas Kula and Samuel Supanki has decreased slightly, but isn't in the slipstream yet. But the Finnish driver of Samuel Supanki is in the slipstream of Luca Wetzler. Luca Wetzler, who's starting in pole position, doing a really good job. Of course, leading your bronze championship. Hasn't gotten a podium so far though. Luca Wetzler. His best race result this season is P9 overall. But despite all that, despite him basically defying the odds, still in P2, the German driver, perhaps feeling at home on this Nordschleife circuit, as Marco Kerkman has made a mistake, has gone off track, now chasing down Davide Coatti. Or is Davide Coatti driving away? Certainly not going to drive away now, especially with Marco Kerkman in the slipstream. Samuel Supanki in the slipstream, but didn't gain all too much, all things considered, on Duttinger Hull. I'm probably pronouncing it completely wrong. Well, I can't speak German, so can you really blame me? Thomas Kula has come closer to Supanki in the meanwhile. You can see Supanki in the light blue, Thomas Kula in the darker blue shade. Well, speaking about blue, Nico Schiffer in blue as well. Not finding his feet really on the Nordschleife. The gaps are closing down between everyone really. Especially now in this first section of the Nordschleife circuit. Samuel Supanki closing, just absolutely closing the gap. This probably will be the last lap. We might actually get one more lap. Felix Votter, about 5 seconds ahead. It's going to be tight either way. Oh, Michael Kerkman crashed again. Let's see what happened to Marco Kerkman. The Dutchman not feeling at home on German territory. Has lost it into the barriers. Yeah, into the barriers. Hasn't lost his rear wing though, so he might be able to continue. Driving with a French back end though will not be a very fun venture for the Skyvlog Racing driver. The gaps for P2 closing and closing now. P3, P4, all within a second of each other, chasing down Luca Wetzler. Wetzler needs to hope and pray it's not going to last a lap longer than this, because this might be the last lap. We're on lap 3. My prediction was that we would get 3 laps, but if Felix Votter, he has 4 minutes to... He has 4 minutes to complete another lap before the time runs out. I think you need to run across the line 5 seconds before, otherwise iRacing says, well, you're done. So even if you cross the line and have 5 seconds to spare, I think you might be done. Anyways, Felix Votter might win it here, but how many laps is he going to drive? Jump to pit lane. Let's see what happened to the Dutchman who's already struggling. That's a car that's simply undrivable for Marco Kerkman. And probably just pulling down to pit lane. That's not something you like to see, but the Nordschleife didn't gain its reputation for nothing. It's such a difficult track to even survive 20 minutes on. But we still have a 20-minute feature race, so there's going to be another chance for Marco Kerkman, for sure. He's all over the back, isn't he? Samuel Suapanki chasing down that 3rd place spot. It's probably going to be decided at the Dottinger Hull. When does Samuel Suapanki want to overtake Luca Metzler, as Mira Ragubi also jumped into pit lane, has crashed, so we have only 9 drivers remaining. And just losing the car, rear wheels on the grass, losing the car again, and that's the end of the story for the Belgian driver who didn't want to finish the race anymore. Oh, there he goes, Samuel Suapanki! Across the grass, losing a position, losing 3rd place, trying to do everything he can to keep that car on the road. And I think Felix Votter is going to do it. We are going to get 4 laps of driving, and this fight for P2 and P3, and even perhaps P4 and P5. Nico Schiffer is closing in on these.
If I slow down 8 seconds, then I'm P2.
As I forgot to mute my driver voice chat, Felix Votter is going to get another lap. We have 20 seconds remaining. As Thomas Kula, Samuel Suapanki has overtaken Thomas Kula by thanks of the slipstream. 10 seconds remaining. We are going to get another lap. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Luca Metzler in P2. Samuel Suapanki in P3. This is going to be a staggering finish here on this Nordschleife track with 6 minutes remaining, roughly 6 minutes remaining. it's a little bit quiet on the Nordschleife track. We had such an entertaining race in Daytona where, believe it or not, actually, Davide Coatti has crashed as well. At least jumped in pit lane, crashed, did crash. Oh, I just lost the car. Well, we look on board, probably losing his rear wing. Just getting side pod damage. Lost the left side mirror. And well, now there are only 8. And let's see if all of those 8 survive. Henrik Lichtenhagen had such a good run in the beginning, and then it all plummeted down for him, driving in P6. But this fight is far from over. Thomas Kula, Samuel Suopanki and Luca Mazzoni still holding on with everything they've got to their respectful positions. But it's only one man who's currently driven almost the entire race on P2. They've tried everything, Suopanki and Kula, but just can't really reach Luca Metzler. Well, we have one Dittinger hole remaining, and that might be crucial for the end of this race. As long as Samuel Suopanki can stay within distance, within touching distance, within slipstream distance, he has a chance to claim that P2. Felix Votter, on the other hand, absolute dominant, like you expect from the championship leader so far. He is going to take that lead from the man who's currently leading with a 7.8 second gap. P2 in the championship so far, Henrik Lichtenhagen. So Henrik Lichtenhagen, the closest one who could bring a fight to Felix Votter, only in P6. But now Samuel Suopanki finally getting squeezed on the grass. All on the grass, trying to keep his car on the road, and he succeeds so. Fending off an attack for P2 once again. He started on pole position. Nobody put a time in except for Luca Metzler, because the qualifying session was only 15 minutes long. Now Samuel Suopanki needs to look at his rear view mirrors, needs to take the defensive line. Right foot down, heading into the carousel in a few meters time. But he's still within slipstream of Luca Metzler, and that's the most crucial. That's absolutely crucial for Kula Metzler and Samuel Suopanki. Drive on board with Thomas Kula. Maybe anything happens on board with the 567 car. Phenomenal track, this Nordschleife circuit. Perhaps these drivers will beg to differ, because it's a struggle keeping up with Luca Metzler at this point. Julian Thijs has gone off track, perhaps. He's had a moment. Let's have a little bit of a look out. Indeed, just a little bit of a technical losing his losing his right-hand mirror in the process, and he probably doesn't need it anyway, given he's driving last. In real life it would have been a different issue. Luca Metzler still in P2. Schiffer closing the gap. Closing the gap. Oh, and now getting a slowdown. Heartbreak for Nico Schiffer, who might have had a chance on the very long back straight of this Nordschleife circuit, but now needing to slow down. Absolutely heartbreaking. Coming into the second carousel, here's another chance in the feature race, which will again be 20 minutes long. Maybe not 4 laps this time, because Felix Votter needs to come from the back of the grid. And that might halt his progress, and this halts Suopanki's progress. The only thing he had to do was to keep in the slipstream of Luca Metzler, and he had a crack on P2. making the same mistake he did last time, losing P4, losing P3. Can he come back though? The story for the window was very boring, but that's something you want when you're leading the championship. A boring victory might be the best one. Felix Rotter will come home to win this very first race of the 4th round on the Nordschleife circuit. Back we head to the fight for P3 because Samuel Suapanki indeed lost it. Luca Metzler will claim his first podium position after a miracle story in qualifying. The bronze driver retains his lead, builds the gap in the bronze championship and takes a very well-deserved second place overall. Thomas Kula finishes in P3, followed by Samuel Suapanki after a thrilling fight for the final podium spot. Lucas Schiffer is done, Henrik Lichtenhagen is done, and so are Niklas Weilerer and Julian Thijs. They are both done. Actually, here Julian Thijs comes across the line, P8 it is. Well, there was 27 minutes of pure adrenaline for the gentleman in P3, P2 and P4. Well, we have a reverse grid for the next race. We'll have a 5-minute break before that. So I'll be right back with you after our 5-minute break and continue the fight on the green hell and see what the next 20 minutes will bring us. In about 5 minutes, we'll be back. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have another 20 minutes of racing here, because the second race actually is going to commence here again on the Nordschleife circuit. I didn't introduce myself, but Adam Reed, our fellow commentator here, kindly introduced myself for me. I'm your commentator, dames en heren, as am I your broadcaster. We're going to experience one hell of one more race here on, didn't I say it already, the Nordschleife circuit with 154 turns. 17 kilometers is the wind here. I'm not sure in which direction the wind is, but that's a lot of wind and can definitely have a big influence on your driving here. Well, switching back to the normal overlay to watch these drivers battle it out once more. Felix Votter, he will start in P10. Miro Ragubi will start on pole position, followed by Davide Coatti, followed by Julian Thijs, followed by Niklas Werner. Hendrik Lichtenhagen will start, in P5. Followed by Nico Schiffer, who didn't have a great race, but can maybe make up for it this race. Suopanki will start in P7, followed by Kula in P8. Luca Metzler, can he put on a wonder show and claim another podium position? Felix Votter needs to do a lot of work to get back to that P1 spot, and Marco Kerkman will try to survive this race this time around as well. Let's hope it doesn't end in tears. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to race here. When the safety car gets in, Davide Coatti and Miro Ragubi will start in P2 and P1. Ragubi will lead the field in towards turn 1. And when do the lights go green and when does Ragubi
Green, green, green.
The answer is now. Davide Coatti already all over the back of Miro Ragubi. That is Hendrik Lichtenhagen behind Nick Schiffer.
Sorry guys, green please. I don't know what.
As I forgot to mute my, oh, Miro Ragubi lost it, causing a huge crash in the first part of this Nordschleife section. And who has damage and who doesn't? Championship leader doesn't. I think it's Nico Schiffer who actually got damage from that. Oh, there goes Marco Kerkman once again. Kerkman probably parks it. No, he carries on. He probably carries on, although his front and his rear side is absolutely destroyed. Marco Kerkman van Schijblok Racing. Not an ideal scenario for the Dutchman at all. Was already in the midfield then. Nico Schiffer got damage, trying to overtake Niklas Werner with a not so streamlined front end. There he goes. Nico Schiffer probably already passed Niklas Werner. Indeed, he is already past Niklas Werner. Now your championship leader Felix Votter will be eyeing up Niklas Werner into every single turn of this 20 and a bit kilometer long track. Fight at the front isn't over. As a matter of fact, it just began. Hendrik Lichtenhagen currently in P3. What a start. What a start for Hendrik Lichtenhagen. And everything is absolutely happening down in the midfield. Niklas Werner going onto the gravel there, onto the grass as a matter of fact, losing basically everything. Onto the grass, yes, cuts the corner, doesn't gain any advantage by doing so. That means that the 509 still in P9 are probably staying there, unless Marco Kerkman can do something about it. Samuel Suopanki had a horrible start so far, trying to chase down Luca Metzler, trying to overtake Luca Metzler, which didn't succeed last time around. Let's see if it works this time. Felix Votter already passed Thomas Kula, trying to get maybe past his teammate. There's Hendrik Lichtenhagen in P3. has got a podium. We'll find that out in a bit. But Julian Thijs into the right-hander, down the brakes, brave enough to overtake Hendrik Lichtenhagen down the inside. They're going to lose a lot of momentum because of that fight though, which probably means that Nico Schiffer all over the back of their Porsche Supercar. They go once more. Hendrik Lichtenhagen is absolutely having none of it. That second place position. And there comes Nico Schiffer. Almost 3 wide. Contact being made between Thijs and Lichtenhagen. Nico Schiffer trying to hang it around the outside, succeeding in doing so. Currently P4. Now what has Felix Votter to say about that? Down the inside, all going cleanly so far. Getting that position as well. Absolute drama for Julian Thijs, as he might need to fend over Thomas Kula, the Slovakian driver as well. Into the carousel they go, one by one. And Nico Schiffer now hunting down towards Hendrik Lichtenhagen. Very, very well done by Lichtenhagen to get an overtake on Julian Thijs. But now he has his rear view, he has his rear mirror, side mirrors absolutely filled with Pole Promotion esports cars. One is named Nico Schiffer, one is named Felix Votter. Lichtenhagen just keeping himself steady. This is good for Davide Coatti if Hendrik Lichtenhagen decides to aggressively defend his P2 position. If he doesn't, he now loses a podium spot. So it's all or nothing for Hendrik Lichtenhagen, who got a P2 in the last feature race at Daytona as well. I'll say it once again. I'll say it once more, but please do go watch that race. Last round at Daytona was absolutely chaotic. Absolute. It had everything in it. Photo finish, crashes, everything you can imagine with a 30-car field. A photo finish because Neva and Felix Votter separated by probably a hair. One thousandth of a second. You can't get it any closer than that. You legitimately cannot. Hendrik Lichtenhagen got a very good exit coming onto the Dottinger hole. Nico Schiffer having Felix Votter bump draft. Actually no, he's going for it. Felix Votter is going for a move on his own teammate. Nico Schiffer will probably bail because Hendrik Lichtenhagen is lifting the slipstream to Felix Votter, and he goes by as well. Hendrik Lichtenhagen losing 2 positions on one straight. Obviously the Dottinger hole is fantastically long, but 2 positions in one straight is heartbreaking for Hendrik Lichtenhagen. Felix Votter almost already in the slipstream of Davide Coatti. Absolute scenes here at the Nordschleife. Drama for Hendrik Lichtenhagen. And well, if you're Felix Votter, you cannot have it any better than this. Oh, someone threw a bunkie. Now in battlements with Julian Thijs doing it around the outside. What a lovely move from the Finnish driver, who's trying to reach Thomas Kula, trying to reach the fight for the final podium spot, because the entire top 5 is still within a second of each other. Everything can still happen. And Davide Coatti will probably want to fight for his life to get his first win of the season. Davide Coatti hasn't gotten the better finish of P7. Well, last race, look at Metzler. He didn't have a better finish than P1 overall. That turned into P2, but now Davide Coatti probably needs to bail on his efforts to win, because there goes Felix Votter, and he will increase the gap from this moment onwards, or really, because Davide Coatti doesn't want. Oh, there goes Hendrik Lichtenhagen into the wall, The German driver goes, trying to find his Nico Schiffer, and it's cost him dearly. And that Porsche, surely I need to look at that front end. It actually seems okay. Oh, the front left fender isn't in all too best of a state. Davide Coatti still on the tail of Felix Rotter, trying to do everything he can to retain that P1. Needs to bail now. Still in fight with Nico Schiffer. There goes Thomas Kula as Davide Coatti loses it all. Well, he fought like a lion, Davide Coatti, but it was all too much. Getting a slowdown as a reprimand for cutting the track. Now Felix Rotter still in P1. Probably wants to expand the gap now, increase the gap. Get that gap up above 1 second, that's what you need. Especially when next lap is probably the last. 6 minutes and 38 seconds will probably be the lap time of Felix Rotter, around the 6 minutes and 38 mark. Well, Mira Kubi has DNF'd, Hendrik Lichtenhagen has DNF'd. I'm not sure what happened to Hendrik Lichtenhagen. We're going to find out here. But he crashed obviously, but he crashed again. Look at the car is just destroyed. I think that's just, there might even be a suspension failing right there. Heartbreak for Hendrik Lichtenhagen as he was doing so well. We can have another look at this. This is Hendrik Lichtenhagen cutting the track. I don't have a replay of a crash earlier on with regrets. Well, that's one way to get the gap for Felix Rotter. Thomas Kula all over the back of Nico Schiffer. Going to try it around the outside. Oh, very tight. Very brave though from the Slovakian driver. Slovakian driver who's had one top 5 finish, which was at Daytona, and now opting for a very first podium finish. Lots of firsts here in this 4th round of the championship. First podium for Luca Wetzler, now perhaps his first podium for Thomas Kula. First P2 maybe for Nico Schiffer. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. About 9 minutes to go. But will Felix Rotter, because he probably lost about 5 seconds. Do the math. He got about an 8 seconds. He got about an 8-second advantage on reaching the 20-minute mark. And well, of all the time he's lost, probably about 5 seconds, iRacing might call it a day. And thus we will get 3 laps. Bizarre scenario in qualifying if you hadn't seen it already. Luca Metzler getting overtaken. Oh! Even an engine failure? Did Luca Metzler just have an engine failure? I've never seen that in my life. How has Luca Metzler got an engine failure? On board with Luca Metzler, and his engine just dies. The engine of Luca Metzler has died. I've never seen it in a Porsche Super Cup. It's a sequential, so you couldn't accidentally downshift. There's downshift protection. Well, as bizarre as qualifying was for Luca Metzler, as bizarre this scenario is as well for Luca Metzler. We need to get back because Samuel Suapanki has just been overtaken actually by Nico Schiffer. No, it's the other way. It's Nico Schiffer being overtaken by Thomas Kula. Broadcasting and commentating at the same time doesn't always go to plan, but Nico Schiffer still trying to get P2. Well, 6 minutes and 38 seconds. I don't think Felix Votter is going to make it. Contact between Kula and Schiffer. Suapanki just goes through. What's happened here? As both front ends touch each other, making a little love. Oh, Thomas Kula, watch out, because that was Nicholas Werner who just avoided Thomas Kula. What's happened here then? What has happened here? Well, we know what's happened here, but I cannot get the replay, sadly. It doesn't allow me to. Well, that's a shame. That's a true shame. Contact was made anyway into turn 1. Bizarre incident for Luca Metzler. I'm trying to find the right drivers. Nico Schiffer and then. Was it? No, it was Thomas Kula. Apparently I have the memory of a goldfish, ladies and gentlemen, but Thomas Kula and Nico Schiffer collided. We only have 7 drivers remaining in this, second race, in this 4th round on the Nordschleife. The Nordschleife doesn't seem so easy to survive on. Not even a 20-minute race. Well, you can't always finish the race because, well, if you want to win, you first have to finish. It went somewhere, something like that. I'm having an absolute stroke trying to remember and absolutely adjust myself to what just happened, because suddenly with that coming together from Thomas Kula and Nico Schiffer, Samuel Suapanki is driving in P2. Julian Thijs, who started almost last, is currently finding himself in P3. He started in P3, as a matter of fact, but at one point was down to P9. Absolute turn of events for Julian Thijs. And I said, well, it's going to be a race of a lot of first times here. It would have been for Thomas Kula. Well, it's now for Julian Thijs, because Julian Thijs hasn't gotten a podium all season long. He got a P5 in the feature race at Daytona, where so much happened. And now he's going to get a P3 if everything stays as it is. Nico Schiffer still 3.9 seconds back, with probably even more damage. He got tied up in the incident at the very start that was caused by Miro Ragubi. And now Nico Schiffer has even more damage. Look at the front end and look at the rear end. It's all not streamlined. It's incredible. The number 77 trying to do everything he can to finish within the top 4. He has Nicholas Werner just behind, who has a very much undamaged Porsche Super Cup. Nico Schiffer, for the hurt, a little bit of grass being spit up by the rear tires of the car being driven by Nico Schiffer into the carousel. Perhaps for the last time around, Felix Votter has about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. The Dottinger hole in its own takes about 30 seconds, and he hasn't reached it yet. But dominant he is nonetheless. 5.2 seconds. The last time around, Felix Walter won by 8 seconds. The gap is now 5.3 seconds. He started from P10, as in the nature of the reverse grids are. You start or you win the sprint race, you will start the feature race in P10. Only the top 10 gets reversed, which means factually there was one man starting behind him. Marco Kerkman, it was. Marco Kerkman isn't driving anymore. Has failed to complete both races. Well, almost only. Oh my god, Felix Walter almost losing his Porsche Super Cup at the end, at almost the end of this third lap. It's probably going to be more exciting trying to see if Felix Walter will manage to get another win, or than any fight currently going on. Oh, there goes Davide Coatti, the man who started in P2, touching the barriers. He was already almost running last. He's certainly running last now. And that's not going to change, because he's also going to survive. Well, Felix Walter. Yes, I told you it's about 30 seconds to complete the Duttinger Hill. He has 30 seconds remaining. It's going to be very tight, but I think Felix Walter might actually make one more lap. So it's going to be a painstaking last lap for a lot of these drivers. It's going to be a painstaking last lap for Felix Walter, because it's 10 seconds. Is he going to make it? It's going to be very, very tight. I don't think he's going to make it. Yes, this is the last lap. Well, he won the first race. He's going to win the second race by almost gaps that are equal to each other. Felix Walter, your championship leader, back-to-back wins on the Nordschleife. There's only one man that could do it. His name, Felix Walter. P1 it is. P1 back-to-back. Samuel Suapanki can be very happy. But someone who will probably be even more happy, Julian Thijs, his very first podium of the season. We've had 2 bronze drivers now who's achieved their first overall podium of the season. Julian Thijs also his very first win of the season in the bronze category. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today. 2 very exciting races here on the Nordschleife completed. Felix Walter maintaining his championship lead, increasing his championship gap, and we'll see you next time around for the 5th race in this fantastic championship. 5th race will be driven at Road America, as these Porsche Super Cups are fabulous on. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time again at Road America for the 5th round in this championship. Have a good evening and goodbye.